Hey friends, how you doing? I hope you're doing awesome wherever you are in the world today. We'll give you guys a chance to jump on here. So if you're watching live, say hello and tell me where you're watching from. If you're watching later, I want you to comment watching later and also tell me where you're watching from. But we'll say hello to some people as they jump on here and welcome them to Mule Tip Tuesday, and then we'll get started. Tim, how you doing, my friend? Hello, Jacqueline. All right. Jason, how you doing? Hello, Gary. Thanks for jumping on today. You guys tell me where you're watching from today. Hello, Gina. Wyatt. Myra, hello. Hey, Trina. How's Colorado? Hey, Kelly. Lee. How you doing? Marilyn, Melissa. All right. Hello, Lynn. How you doing? Okay. Jerry. Hello, Sue. How you doing? Hey, Ray. How you doing there in Virginia? Okay. Well, I got plenty of friends on here. So what do you say we get going on this Mule Tip Tuesday? I think we might get through these questions a little early. So if you have questions that you want some help with, you want answers, why don't you go ahead and post them on here? And if you could, in your comment, put question and then write your question so that I can go through the comments. Many of you guys make fun of me every week because I have the hardest time scrolling and finding the questions. I need Sky here for that. So anyways, post your questions if you got them, okay? But anyways, let's get going on this. Welcome to the Everyday Mulemanship Podcast. My name is Ty Evans, and today is Mule Tip Tuesday. Thanks for jumping on. And lots going on over here at TS Mules. We've been busy with this whole Dally Diaries thing going on. And I would love you guys' feedback on the Dally Diaries. Let me know if you guys are watching the Dally Diaries on the free newsletter, or if you guys are watching it on our online video library. I lost my words there for a second. Let me know what you guys think of those. Let me know what you think of them. So it's been a lot of fun. In fact, I just got done playing around with Dally, and she's tied up outside waiting for me to come unsaddle. And you know, Dally is an interesting mule, and maybe some of you guys have mules just like her. You can kind of relate, but she's the type of mule that it feels like it's 51st dates. And one day it'll be just easy. Honestly, it'll be easy, and she's so mellow, and the next day she'll be riled up. She's highly sensitive. She's very highly sensitive, and which is going to be fantastic when I get to riding, and especially when I get to working cattle and the things that I enjoy doing. She's going to be a fantastic mountain mule because she is tough as nails. But like today, she's been doing real good with the saddle. I should say she's been doing better with the saddle. The approach, and I see this quite a bit with horses and mules. Sometimes where they'll be a little scared of the approach when you walk up to your mule. That's kind of her. If you walk up to her, she's a little worried about that approach. But then she's pretty cool about everything. And she hasn't really bucked a whole lot with just packing the saddle around since we started her. However, today, I don't know what it was, but boy, I just saddled her up and let her out into the arena, and we started our groundwork, and boy, she just felt like lighting it up today. So she bucked pretty good, and so I let her bounce around there. It's like I was flying a kite, and then she calmed down a bit. And anyways, so sometimes that'll happen. It'll feel like, man, this is like 51st dates. It's starting over and over again, and that's okay. As long as you keep working You keep try to get them in a good mental frame of mind, and you stay consistent. Over time, that'll work out. And time is one of them things that messes most of you up, is time. Thinking that you got to get something done today, you got to get something done this week, this month, this year. And you know, I've really tried to change the last about 5 or 6 years, trying to not worry or stress so much about time. And you know, when I stopped training for the public, that was the biggest deal, because you know, if I had Dally, you know, say one of you hired me to work Dally for you, I would be telling you guys to get rid of that mule and give it to somebody that's a top hand, because I don't, you know, most of us wouldn't have the, you know, wouldn't be able to hire a trainer to work as long as it's going to take to work through Dally. You know, it's going to be a long while, but to me, it's going to be worth it. So anyways, yeah, I'd love to hear from all of you, whether you're listening to this on the live Mule Tip Tuesday here on Facebook, or whether you're watching this later on YouTube, or you're listening to this on the podcast. I'd love to hear feedback on the Dally Diaries, and tell me whether you're watching it on the free newsletter or you're watching it on the online video library. Don't forget, on the online video library, you get the full sessions. So, for example, I think week number 3, the one I just sent out, I think it, you know, the free one is edited down to about 4 minutes, and the whole session, the live session, was 34 minutes. So there's a lot of other stuff in there, and we do bonus videos too. So, all right, our Mule Tip Tuesday is sponsored by Western Mule Magazine. Ben and Anita Tennyson, they do a great job, and I'm very grateful for their support, very grateful for their sponsorship in these podcasts. They're great. I write for them every month, been writing for them for about 3 years, I think, and just great people, and a great magazine too. Also, this week's Mule Tip Tuesday is brought to you by the Boyd Ranch Mule Ride. Boyd Ranch Mule Ride, we got a clinic there this year too, down in Wickenburg, Arizona, and I'm real excited for that. But it's a great ride, a really good group of people that show up to that, and you can find more info on boydranch.org. So, my tip to you this week is kind of funny in a way, because it's kind of my pet peeve, okay? So I'm going to share this with you and try to be a little transparent with you guys. So if you want to make fun of me, you can. But this is one of my pet peeves, okay? Is at a clinic, you know, and some of you, most of you watching, as I see these names pop up here on Facebook, you know, most of you have been to a clinic before, so you've probably seen me do this. But, you know, at a clinic, maybe somebody's having a hard time with their mule or whatever, you know, on the ground, and I do some groundwork, or maybe it's in the saddle. Sometimes I used to ride a lot of people's mules, and I try not to anymore. I try to let the people work things out. But, you know, in the past, I'll work a mule for somebody, and then they kind of turn it around. Like, I'll get their mule going really nicely, and get the mule in a good frame of mind, and the mule's quiet and gentle, and, you know, starting to follow a little bit of a feel or something. And then the rest of the clinic, the person, every time like I walk by that person and that mule, they talk to their mule, and they say, "Mule, you better be nice, or I'll sick Ty on you. You know, I'll make Ty work the heck out of you." And like I'm the punishment to the mule. And I try to be polite, and I try not to make anybody feel bad, but in my mind, I'm thinking, geez, I just worked hard getting that mule in such a nice frame of mind. I got that mule loves me now. Like, that mule really likes me, because I worked through whatever the stressor was, whatever the anxiety was. We worked through it, and I got that mule comfortable, and I made it feel good about itself. And then the rest of the time, yeah, like I said, the person will be like, "Oh, well, you better be good, or else I'm going to let Ty work you." And my tip to you guys this week is, please don't think that working with your mules, when you guys go out and work with your mules, that it's a punishment. And if you see decline in the quality, if you see changes in behavior on a consistent basis, meaning, okay, every day my mule's getting harder to catch. I work it every day, and then it's harder to catch today, harder to catch the next day, harder to catch the next day. You might consider the quality that you're working, the quality of your work, excuse me, and make sure you're on the right track, okay? But just because you go work with them doesn't mean they're not going to like you. And if the work that you're doing is thought of as a punishment, you got the wrong frame of mind while you're working. So whenever I work with a mule, whether it's your mule, your horse, your donkey, my mule, horse, or donkey, whatever, any animal I touch, my goal is to bring out the best in that animal at this time. So whatever that might be. Anyways, so think about the quality. As you're working and you're doing a quality job at it, things will get better. Your mule will enjoy you more and more. You know, I got a pen full of mules out here that can prove my point. You know, my main saddle mule, Riata is her name, big red mule. I mean, if I'm being honest, you guys, I ride the crap out of that poor gal. She gets used. I got all these colts here. She ponies these animals almost every day. She gets rode the most by far out of all of them. This mule already has. She's coming 6 years old, and this mule has over 100,000 trailer miles. I've drug her crisscrossing the country, you know, multiple times now. And, you know, gosh, that mule just, I can't get to the gate quicker than she can, you know, she's just there. You know, and there's definitely some things that play into that, you guys. There's, you know, dispositions and how they're bred. There's different types out there for sure. But as you're working, it should be getting better as long as you're doing quality work. So please, if you're at a clinic and I spend time on you and your mule, please don't think that's a punishment for your mule, okay? All right. Let me know what you think of that mule tip of the week, okay? I got some questions that you guys sent in. I appreciate this. These are actually questions. All three of these here that I have are questions that I didn't get to last week, and I see some questions coming in today, and I'll try to get to whatever I can, and if I don't, I'll roll it to next week, okay? So, oh, hey, come on in.
Okay.
I got Sky here today now.
Hi. I was late.
All right, come on in.
I was feeling left out.
All right, I'm glad you're here. Everybody say hi to Sky that's watching on Facebook. Okay, why don't you read us that question, if you can read my writing.
Okay.
This is from...
Oh, sorry. Diana Noonan. Can you talk about your method for vaccinating your mules and how you keep them calm?
Yep. So when it comes to vaccinations, if we're being transparent, me and Sky don't spend a lot of time preparing. I mean, when's the last time that I said, I'm going to go out and work on getting this mule ready to vaccinate? I don't know that I've ever
I don't
done that.
prepare myself for shots either.
So, but in a way, we do prepare a lot. You know, I don't go out and I'm not working on that specific thing today. But there's things that play into that. For one, we want control the feet. If you can't control the feet, you're going to have a heck of a time vaccinating.
You can get ran over.
You're going to get ran over. You're going to get beat up. And, I mean, when I say control the feet, I don't mean they don't have to be perfect. Because, I mean, we vaccinate our little weanlings, you know. And
I was wishing I filmed that because it...
So simple.
Yeah.
But if you got just a little basic control of the feet, that's going to really help you. Because if you don't, they're going to push you. And remember, we're always talking about keeping them centered. In the clinics, we talk about keeping them centered. And that's that imaginary rectangle-shaped box, keeping them centered. And if they're not staying in that box, they're pushing on it. The other thing is a good mental frame of mind. The more stressed they are, the more worried they are, scared, the more fearful, that's just going to make that vaccinating deal so much worse. So much, that's going to be just really challenging, isn't it? If they're in a bad frame of mind. The other thing, it's just such a simple piece of the checklist on the ground and in the saddle, is lateral flexion. If you can just get a little bend, you can, like a mule that's real scared of shots. And you know, you guys, there are some mules that are very sensitive skinned. Absolutely. We've had a few of them. But if those ones that are pretty sensitive like that, one thing that I've done in the past is I'll just have the needle kind of ready, and I'll ask them to bend, and they just kind of bend right into it. And when they bend, that skin folds and gets a little softer, so it's not so tight and tense right there. So instead of them pulling away and having it real tight, they go to you, and that skin softens up. And that's the easy way to do it. The other thing is just lots of tapping. I'll just tap on the neck, just with your hand, just lightly, not like you're smacking them. Just tap, 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 and then put the needle in, and then back away. Just leave them alone for a second, and then you can go back and you can.
So you do the needle separately.
Yeah, you can do the needle separately instead of having the whole syringe and everything, whatever. But that's helped a bunch too. So that's a good question. Let's see. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention on that too is just constant handling too. Sometimes some mules and horses only get caught when they either going to get rode hard or when they're going to get vaccinated. So, but just constant and good quality handling, and that kind of goes with today's tip too. All right, why don't you read the next question from Pat. Pat Rollins wrote this question last week.
Okay.
Pat, say hello if you're on here.
How would you deal with a Mueller horse that sits back in the trailer when you try to unload them?
All right, so I'm picturing this. And Pat, if you're on here, you tell me if I'm picturing it right. But maybe she's trying to unload this horse, and she's trying to lead it out, and the horse doesn't want to get out. It's usually the other way around. We've had a few that didn't want to get out of the trailer.
We did. We have had somebody ask if we have a trailer unloading DVD.
Yeah, those are hard to come by because we don't have that.
Yeah.
We don't have that problem. So I got to find somebody else.
I guess we did with the weanlings though this fall. They didn't want out.
Yeah, the weanlings didn't want out. So I'll give you a couple things. Number one, I will say, you know, if your horse doesn't want to come out of the trailer, okay, on that lead rope, and it says she said setting back. So maybe the horse is pulling back on her. Number one, it really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the trailer, and it's just everything to do with that quality of leading and being broke to lead. So I would work on that groundwork separately, and you can do things like a way that you can kind of practice this is even just sending them on a little makeshift platform, a little bridge. Like we got a little, basically a pallet that we put some 2x6s on, and that's like our little bridge. And we'll send them up on that and send them off that, and you know, it's not more than 4 inches tall, but it kind of gives them a little obstacle to put with the groundwork, and that seems to help a lot with the trailer loading and unloading. So you could practice that. The other thing, like with our weanlings, remember with the weanlings when. I remember after we picked them up, we went down to Jacksboro. I mean, we just kind of let them just hang out for quite a while, and Bozalita jumped out. She was the first one to she just jumped right out. But we just give her time, so you could do that. You get back, and if this is chronic, your horse doesn't want to get out of the trailer. Next time you go out, whatever, and you get home, just back up to your round pen or your arena or shoot even your pasture. And go open your trailer, just take your halter off, and go eat dinner.
I have a question.
So, yeah.
About her question.
Okay.
I wonder if when she says sets back, maybe she has a divider and it's sitting on it and she's trying to unload it. You think or not?
I don't know. She'd have to clear that up.
You'll have to let us know. If
but,
we answered it correctly.
So, yeah, you might have to add some to your question there. But I would just take the halter off and let that horse find its way out. Don't try to pull it out. That ain't going to help anything. In the meantime, work on that groundwork. Get that horse broke to lead. with quality. So, okay, let's see next question here. Go ahead and read the next question.
I was reading a comment. Okay, Sue Callahan asked your thoughts on equine dentists and chiropractors.
All right, Sue, my thoughts on equine dentists, chiropractors. Well, I guess it depends on which one. We got to go through all the names of them all? No, I'm joking. Just general as practitioners, equine dentists, first off, I think extremely important. We get our mules teeth floated and checked every year, all of them, and that's important because our mules are domesticated. They're here. What they eat is pretty much what we feed them, and we got a little pasture, but they're not in brush. Able to wear those teeth down, the way they ought to. So we keep them floated. So equine dentists are important. We've had, I've seen all sorts of stuff, abscess teeth, and there's just a long list of stuff for the equine dentist. So that's a definite must. Everybody ought to have their,
You do that yearly?
We do that yearly. We do that every year. By we, I mean, I guess I do it.
Yeah.
I don't do it.
He
I
doesn't do it.
hire it done.
He drives
there.
there.
I hire it done. That's important. As for the chiropractors, we don't use chiropractors and much.
Just a couple times we have.
Yeah, we've had a couple times. The main thing with chiropractors that's different from like a dentist, and I don't know why she put those two together. Maybe she can elaborate, but there's not much that I can do myself to help their teeth. There's not much I can do about that. I don't have the abilities to keep those teeth down, keep them trimmed, floated. But the chiropractor work, if you ride that horse, you ride those mules really well, and you get them well balanced on all four quarters and through their body, and you get that top line strong, and you do a good job riding that horse balanced and straight. Straightness meaning balanced on the lateral there. You won't have a lot of issues there. Now, there's plenty of exceptions. We got lots of friends, and if there's been different emergencies and instances where a mule or horse gets twisted up, and you get it checked out, and they can help it out for sure. So, but that one I can take care of a little bit more myself.
Well, you can.
I can prevent. Yeah. I can prevent damage to that spine myself, whereas the teeth, we
Once in a while we go to clinics where they can chew on fences.
Yeah, we
on the road they get a little bit more.
Yeah, we've chewed a few wood fences up with our mules, haven't we?
We've gotten in trouble.
Yeah, we're always getting in trouble. But okay, why don't you scroll through, Sky, find us some more questions. We got time for probably one more, two more, maybe.
Here she is. Okay, so Diana, she asked about the unloading.
Okay.
So she said, what about having to back out of a slant load? I train my horses to back out by themselves on command, but I'm having a hard time getting my new mule to back out without smashing me in the slant load.
Yeah, so in regards to the question before, I'm not going to sit and fight that horse to back out of that trailer if it can't even lead out of the trailer. So this mule that Diana, right? Mm-hmm. Diana's asking about here, I would get it good just leading out nicely. And then you can work on the backing out separately. And, a couple things I do, these mules are they got a lot more self-preservation. And so stepping off backwards and blind is a little bit bothersome to a lot of them. And it takes some time.
They don't feel like it's smart.
Yeah, to get them a little bit more. I just found that takes a little more time than a horse. So, Diana, I would start on maybe, kind of like that bridge example that I used. We got that little bridge that just is 4 inches off the ground, and back that mule off of that little bridge so it has just a little step down. And then maybe find a little bit of maybe a little dock, maybe a 1 foot drop, and practice there. But I'd get that good. I'd back them and get it good on the ground and out of the trailer. That way when you're in that trailer, it's gonna go good for you. We had trouble. In fact, the mule I was talking about earlier, Riata, my main mule, we never back out of trailers. Both of our trailers are big living quarters that we haul around the country, and my stock trailer, they're both stock trailers, and we just lead them right out. And also we don't practice backing them up a lot because
our trailers are really high.
Our trailers are high. I got them all lifted. They're lifted to get around the dirt roads we got around here.
How high you think?
I'm not sure how high it is, but it's plenty high, and it's a little too high for them to back out. They'll scrape themselves every time. So we don't practice a lot, but I thought, I'll just back Rihanna out.
Well, she's kind of having a fit in the trailer, so
yeah,
being just impatient to get out. So
I thought, I'll just back her out. And I went to back her out, and boy, we had a heck of a time.
She said,
and
that's the way to die. She was convinced.
Yeah, and I didn't get it done. I didn't get her out of the trailer in that session because I realized that, my gosh, I need to go back. And if it did anything, it has highlighted one of the weaknesses that mule has, or we have together, and that is backing. And so I've worked at it, and next time I decide to back her out, I imagine it'll be a lot easier than that time. So let's see. We got. Why don't you get one more question?
Okay. Saw one. Cora said I don't know if that's a question.
I'll find this question here.
It didn't have a question mark. That's the only way I can tell.
You guys got to put your question marks on there.
Remember, if you write question before your question, then we can find it super fast.
All right. Got all those people saying hi to you at least, huh? I don't see any more.
Find one. I'm sure they're up here. Just have to go past.
Appreciate you guys asking questions on here, and appreciate you guys emailing. You can always email in a question for us. Ty@tsmules.com, and just put in the header question for Mule Tip Tuesday. You can do that. Go ahead and read that.
Okay. Myra said, I'm curious to hear what you think about the Dr. Cook bitless cross understyle hackamore. Your Dally Diaries are great. Anyway, it goes on.
All right. What's her name? Myra?
Myra.
Okay, Myra. First off, you want to make sure you understand what a hackamore is. A hackamore is in reference to a bozal, a hanger, and a makati. That's a hackamore. Nothing else is a hackamore, even though people may coin them as hackamores. That's not a hackamore.
Just bitless is not.
Yep, and just because it's bitless does not mean it's a hackamore. So her question is, what do I think about the Dr. Cook bitless? I don't know who Dr. Cook is, and I'm not familiar with that setup at all. But if you're interested in that, I'd say just do a good job. Get them going good in a snaffle bit. Get them going good in a hackamore, and go from there. The hackamore is my preference for that transition. And the other part that a lot of people get hung up on too, and they forget, the hackamore is a transition. It's not an end goal at all. It was never designed as an end goal. It's a green to intermediate stage in the making of a bridle mule. So it wasn't really designed for forever use. It really wasn't. And if you're looking for good quality feel, a lot of the bitless bridles I've seen, the way that you apply that feel is a little tricky. I've seen a lot that basically they tighten under. You could pull on it, like some of the side pulls you can pull on it, but it tightens under the curb really, and that kind of defeats the purpose of what the hackamore stage is all about. The hackamore stage is getting away from that contact, or it's building upon a feel where you eliminate different parts of the question. And we've discussed this in other podcasts and episodes, but basically like the snaffle, for example, when you pick up on it, it pulls maybe this side and pushes this side, so it's got a lot of feel there. And then you go to the hackamore where you eliminate the pull and you only have the push on that side. There's no more pull on that. So it's that transition piece. So I'm not really answering your question because I don't know anything about that. I don't, like I said, I don't know who Dr. Cook is, so sorry I can't help you there, Myra. But I would say if you're gonna play around like that, I'd just get you a good quality hackamore, and and as they progress in the hackamore, you go down in size. The hackamore is a whole podcast, well, a couple podcast episodes is what it is. It's quite and we're gonna have lots of information about the hackamore coming up. I'm gonna be filming it fresh because Riata is just a few weeks away from transitioning to the hackamore, which is exciting.
It is.
I'm
excited to see her big nose in one.
Yeah.
If you could fit one on there.
I got one for her. So you'll see lots. We're going to have all those in the video library from, all year. The whole year that she's in a hackamore, or maybe 2 years. We'll have all that footage for you guys. So, well, what do you say? Good for today?
No, I always want to do more.
I always want to do more. Well, you guys, thanks for spending the last half hour with me. I'm grateful. I'm glad you could jump in, Sky.
Yes.
So she's always late. I said, hey, you come. Where you at? It was time for Mule Tip Tuesday. Oh, I forgot.
I do. I forget every time. Well,
I don't forget about you guys. Don't
I've
you worry.
just been confused on the days since Christmas.
This is a habit for me. We've been doing Mule Tip Tuesdays since June of 2016. So we're going on 5 years.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So I got 5 years of Tuesday habit.
Time
hanging out with you guys. So
thank
you guys.
And 1 year of these. We just started this a year ago.
Yeah, doing the live videos has been a year, so that was new. I used to be able to just record them anytime, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little easier.
It was easier, but not as fun. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with us today, you guys. If you could, please leave us a review or email us. Let us know what you think. Anything helps. We're very grateful. Please share and tell your friends about this Mule Tip Tuesday and the podcast. So, thank you, guys. God bless, and we will see you next week, all right?